Good day, everyone. Welcome to Science for High School with Merivit Education Center. My name is Master Levin, and this series is for Math M.3. Now, we will discuss the topics all about biodiversity. Here are our objectives for this lesson. First, students will be able to know about biodiversity. Second, students will be able to learn the types of biodiversity. And lastly, students will be able to explain the importance of biodiversity to a balanced ecosystem and human health. The term biodiversity was originally derived from biological diversity. The word biodiversity originates from the Greek word bios, which means life, and Latin word diversitas, which means variety or difference. The whole word biodiversity generally therefore means variety of life. Biodiversity is a term used to describe the enormous variety of life on Earth. It can be used more specifically to refer to all of the species in one region or ecosystem. Biodiversity also refers to every living thing including plants, bacteria, animals, and humans. Biodiversity is usually explored at three levels: genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. These three levels work together to create the complexity of life on Earth. Now, we have here genetic diversity as the variation of genes within a particular species with their genetic individuality. Similarly, this term encompasses various populations of one single species. Within a species, the individuals are slightly different from one another. These differences are mainly due to meiosis, whereby different combinations of genes are transmitted from one generation to the next. The genetic diversity of a species paves a way for the species to adapt to the changing environment. Examples for genetic diversity as what we have here are assorted colors of corn and birds with different colors of feathers. Another type of diversity is the species diversity. Species diversity is the variation of species within a particular area. Species are the basic units of biological classification, and hence, this is the measure most commonly associated with the term biodiversity. The number of species in a region varies widely depending upon the different environmental conditions, and that number of species that live in a certain location is called species richness. Consequently, we have here the ecological diversity. Ecological diversity is a type of biodiversity which is the variation in the ecosystems found in a region, or the variation in ecosystems over the whole planet. Ecological diversity includes the variation in both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. The examples of the ecological diversity are deserts, wetlands, forest, grasslands, ocean, and etc. Now, I just want to ask, why do you think biodiversity is important? Well, my dear students, biodiversity is important because it provides resources such as food, oxygen, water, drugs, medicinal materials, wood products, and raw industrial materials. It also protects water resources by maintaining the abundance of species in which our watersheds are located, and will be able to avoid contamination of our water resources. In addition, it regulates climate by sequestering and storing enormous amount of carbon dioxide by the flora that causes global warming and climate change. It also recycles and stores nutrients. Biodiversity is directly involved in recycling nutrients and providing fertile soils. Worms and soil microbes break down dead plants and animal matter, releasing nutrients back into the soil. Other importance of biodiversity is that it combats pollution. The trees and other vegetation absorb pollutants such as excessive nitrogen dioxide, ozone, and particulate matter through their leaves and thereby help to improve air quality. Less plant cover thus means less filtering capacity to clean our air. Biodiversity also encourages soil formation. The trees and other vegetation assist in soil formation. A significant contribution is the introduction of organic matter through litter formation, decay, and regeneration of tiny fibrous roots, both of which facilitate microbial activity. Furthermore, biodiversity is also for recreation and tourism. For most other types of tourism, biodiversity contributes significantly to the attractiveness and quality of destinations, and therefore to their competitiveness. For example, coastal water quality and natural vegetation are both ecosystem services that contribute to destination attractiveness. Then, biodiversity also adds cultural values because even amidst a diversity of cultures comes a diversity of meanings, leading to a diversity of action, providing an array of biodiversity outcomes. This nature-culture continuum or interaction has existed through the past and into the present, and is therefore likely to be sustained in the future. This is the end of our lesson, and I hope you have learned something. Thank you so much for listening, and see you on the next episode. Goodbye!